Hey guys, how you doing? Eric at Diversified Outdoors here. Today I want to cover a topic which is called EDC, or Everyday Carry. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. For those of you who aren't, this is basically talking about the things that you carry every single day on your person. This is separate from like a go bag or a bug out bag or a 72-hour bag or a truck car bag, things like that. This is what you're actually physically carrying, nothing external, on your person, typically in your pockets or belt. And I think it's important because we all carry wallets, we all carry keys, we all carry a cell phone. But one, cell phones can die. They're battery powered. So that can be a problem. So you can't rely on all the features of your phone all the time. The other thing is EDC to me is more, what are those items you carry that are beyond the typical keys, wallet, cell phone? So what we'll do today is what we call a pocket dump. So I'm going to pull all the things out of my pocket and show you what I carry. And then we'll take it over to the table next, and then we'll deep dive and look at every single item individually. So this right now will just be an overview. So where I'm going to start right now is my watch. A lot of people don't carry watches anymore because they have a cell phone and they use that as a timepiece. The difference though for me is this is a triple sensor watch. This is solar powered. So it has a barometer, it has a altimeter, and it has a compass. Those are all features that you can argue you find on your phone, but the thing to me is, again, your phone battery will die or can die. This is solar powered, so even if my phone's gone, missing, destroyed, damaged, or the battery's out, I still have all those features in my watch. So I still think that's important to carry. Next thing I carry is a wallet. I tend to carry a little bit bigger wallet. This is the Timberland Pro series with RFID protection. So we'll go over that in a minute. I think that's an important one. Next thing is a tactical folder. So this is very typical now that, if you're going to carry a knife, it's going to be probably like this. A lot of, historically people carried a lot of like sheathed knives on their belt loop, but these are so light and so easy with the belt clip that just goes inside your pocket. Really, really handy. So again, very important to carry a knife because more than a weapon, this is actually a tool that you'll use every day. I always tell people that, think why would you ever need to carry a knife? I'm like, how many boxes do you open a day from Amazon? Besides being potentially life-saving tool, utilitarian-wise, it's a very practical tool to carry on a daily basis. So that makes a lot of sense to me. And the last thing I really carry on my person every day is going to be this pouch. Okay, so this pouch we'll go over closer, but I carry another knife, which is a Victorinox, the Fieldmaster. I carry a flashlight. If you turn it around in the back, there's a zippered pouch here. And inside this pouch, you're going to find a pen and a lighter. So again, we'll go over this in greater detail in a second. And then the last thing I really carry that's useful to me is a belt. And this is a 511 tactical belt that I really like because it's easily positionable. So if I carry things that are heavier, I can tighten it up real quick. Sometimes at work, I'll put both my cell phones, because I have a work phone and my personal phone, I'll put them in my back pocket, and it feels like my pants are going to fall down. So I can just really quick grab this and tighten it and clasp it back down. So 511, to me, is about the best belt I've ever found for that. And they also carry upgraded versions for like carrying, like a sidearm. Fortunately, I live in California, so that's usually not an option for most of us. So we're not carrying. We're going to really talk about that topic today. That's maybe for a different day. But anyway, let's get to the table and we will look at all these things a little bit closer and see what we think. Okay, so here we are at the table. So what I wanted to do here was really just go over each item in detail and give you basically a brief explanation of what it is and why I carry it. This to me is really just a way to start the conversation for you. If you're new to this and you're not that familiar with EDC, this would give you at least an idea of, hey, why does this person carry this and does it make sense for me? Because it may or may not. So I'm going to go over the things we just talked about that I did a pocket dump on. And then I've got a couple other items I'm going to show you which I consider what I call like alternates. So we'll get to that. Anyway, let's start at the beginning. Watch. I love this watch. It is a Casio. I love Casio. They're durable, tough, and they keep on going. I like this one because it's light, because it's titanium, and I like that it's solar powered, and it has a couple features that to me are really important for me, like mostly the altimeter. I, for some reason, always like to know how high we are when we're out in the backcountry, or if we're hunting or hiking or fishing or whatever, wherever we are. I tend to want to know what the altitude is. Anyway, so this watch is awesome, but I don't think it's available anymore. When I looked it up, the only place I really could find them was on eBay, and they're about $600 used. And this is the Casio Pathfinder triple sensor solar powered titanium men's watch. So you can try to find this one if you want, or you can just find a watch that suits your needs and maybe covers the type of features that would be more appropriate for you. Because I carry this watch, again, doesn't mean you need to go find this exact watch. And again, I'll give you a little disclaimer on that. One, these videos that people make should never really be like, you have to go get this item. They should more be, here's a suggestion and here's why I think it's important. Now you go find the one that you can afford or that you think has the features that you need. Because some of the things that people carry are amazing, but they're extremely expensive. Like some of the knives are very expensive. And I've just never really gotten into carrying expensive knives for two reasons. One, sometimes I lose them and other times I break them. And so I don't want to break a knife or lose a knife that I'm, freaking out because I spent, $600-700 on a knife when I can spend it $45 on a knife and be completely happy with it. So, always be aware of the features you really need and the price point that makes sense to you. You don't need to break the bank to do this. You can do this pretty inexpensively. So, next item I will say, let's go over this. This is a bitchin' knife. I love this thing. If you've never heard of a knife company online called Bud K, maybe check them out. They're really known for inexpensive items. But if you dig through, you can find some really decent stuff. And so it's budk.com. And this is the Mavroknev Gray Wind Shear Pocket Knife. And it is $49.98. And it is, again, I'm not going to go over every single spec because, again, you can go and look and see what makes sense for you. Again, I just want to go over the basics and like why I like this knife. One, I like that it's flip open and it flips open really easy because it actually has a ball bearing in there. So for me, when I'm looking for a EDC knife, I'm always looking to make sure it says that it has a ball bearing because that really helps it open easy. The other thing is I like is there's a really robust pocket clip. You can see it's, really built well. Same material, nice and thick, several screws holding it in. I really like that idea. I like the fact that it's skeletonized, which means it's less weight. And again, a lot of times people get really into the blade type and quality, to be honest with you. To me, sometimes I kind of just say a knife is a knife. Is there better knives out there? Absolutely. But for $50, if I lose this or break it, I don't really care. And will it cut stuff? Yes. Could I use it to protect myself? Absolutely. So if let's say a bad guy comes up and tries to get me and I use this knife to save my life, I don't think they're going to be too worried about what blade steel this has. They're just going to know, hey, this guy's got a weapon to defend himself. I'm out of here. So again, I don't think those things are overly important unless you're really into knives and it, then maybe that really means something to you. But to be honest, for the purpose of this, I would just stay in the price range that you're comfortable with so that if you lose it, you're not too worried about it and that you can afford it. I'd rather see you buy a lower quality knife and have a knife than be priced out of carrying a knife. To me, that's even worse. So, and this also I like has a liner lock. So you just pull this to the side and that's how you close it. And again, it has a nice flipper on it. So I love this knife. I'm really happy with this one. So the next thing we're going to get into is my wallet that I pulled out of my pocket. So again, you'll see down here, this is the Timberland Pro men's leather they call it a long billfold rodeo wallet with RFID. So what the RFID is basically when people are trying to scan, like let's say your cards through your wallet, this has that built-in material that blocks that. Okay. And so you'll see inside, that's this material right here. Okay. And again, I like it's got a lot of pockets. I always have a lot of cards. My driver's license is normally right there. It's got pockets in the back. Like for example, just to show you this, I actually carry like a little magnifying glass with a little ruler on it. So that comes in handy often. So anyway, this is the wallet I carry. I don't mind. I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'6", and I've got deep pockets. So I don't mind carrying a bigger wallet because I'd rather carry all the things that I want to carry than have to trim it down and not feel that I'm satisfying the carrying I want. So I'd rather go with a little bigger wallet. Plus, I always carry wallets in my front pocket. I've been taught that since I was a kid to basically avoid being pickpocketed. It's a lot harder for someone to steal your wallet out of your front pocket than your back pocket. Plus, sitting on a thick wallet can actually make your back hurt because you're off kilter when you're sitting on a big, thick wallet in your back pocket. So for me, because I carry in the front, I don't care that it's big. I'm good with it. Okay, next thing is we'll hit this because this is what the other items are going to be carried in. So this is this little pocket pouch, and I love these things. This one is made by VIPERADE. It's the VE13 mini EDC pouch, and it's literally only 20 bucks. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, this wallet is 35 bucks. So again, it doesn't break the bank, and it's all leather. But this little thing is awesome. So all it really has in the front is two little pouches. It has a little loop on the top, which I don't use. It's got these little loops in the front, which I do use. I'll show you that in a second as we reassemble. And then it's got Velcro on the pouch, so you could either stick a sticker or like a patch. What do they call those? I don't know, like a decorative little patch. Or you can actually stick this up against something that's got the other side of the Velcro. And then again, this got this little zipper pocket in the back. So. And this was $19.99 off Amazon. And so this VIPERADE makes a ton of different sizes. So what I did is I really just looked at the items I wanted to carry, the size of my pocket, and I made the choice. And so for me, the VE13 was the right one to get. And so far it's worked out fantastic because although I don't mind carrying stuff in my pockets, to be honest with you, I don't like carrying a bunch of bulky stuff. I watch some people do pocket dumps, and I cannot believe the amount of stuff they're pulling out of their pockets, which is great for them, but it just makes me feel uncomfortable carrying so much stuff. So this was really the largest I wanted to go. So in that, again, is one of my favorite items in here. This is my flashlight. And what I like about it is it's flat. I do not like round flashlights, and it has two lights in it. It has a clip in it that it can either clip to your pocket, or it's going to clip to this thing, which I'll show you in a minute, or you can actually clip it to the inside of your hat visor and use it as a hat light, and it's also got a place for a lanyard. I'm going to do a much more in-depth video on this flashlight because I think this thing is amazing, and that's really not what this video is about. This is more just showing you that I'm going to carry a flat flashlight. The good thing about this one, just I'll show you off the bat, is it locks so that it doesn't accidentally go in your pocket and you'll end up going to use it and it doesn't work, which would suck. On one side in here, it actually has a built-in lithium battery, and then the other side, it has a AAA. So you can take this clip, rotate the head, and pop a new battery in. So this has two sources of power, which is awesome. And there's a bunch of settings like moonlight, so it's really low. You can get these in warm light, bright, blue light. You can get them like one white, one red. This is a really great flashlight, and this company makes awesome stuff, and their customer service is killer too. This is made by Rovyvon, Rovyvon. This is the E3 700 lumen keychain flashlight, and it's $39.95. So for a flashlight, it's a little expensive maybe, but the aluminum that it's built in, the features that it has, man, I will pay 40 bucks all day long for this flashlight. This thing is awesome. And again, when we get to the end of this and I talk about, here's a little preview. When I talk about the couple items I would never not carry, I'll spoiler alert, this is one of them. I'm telling you, having a flashlight's amazing. So that goes in here. I will show that in a minute. I'll reassemble that and we'll be able to see that. The other item I carry is this Victorinox knife. Now, obviously I already have this knife, but I feel that for the size and the features that you get in a knife like this, that I really am compelled to carry a second knife. Because I do see a lot of people that will carry two tactical folders, and to me, it's a redundancy that if I'm going to carry two knives, I want them to maybe serve two different purposes. So this is the Victorinox Swiss Army multi-tool. This is the Fieldmaster pocket knife. Now it's a little thicker because if you're talking EDC, a lot of times you're trying to go thin and light as possible. I did choose a little bit thicker of a Victorinox knife than I could have because another one I like is called the Tinker, especially the Tinker Deluxe, because it has a little plier on it. But I will tell you, for the items that I would ever need, This thing really fits the bill better, and to me, it's worth the extra thickness to carry in my pocket to get the features I want. And I can tell you, one of the features to me is that it actually has a decent Phillips head. Okay, because I end up using a Phillips head constantly. And another one that I found is very, very useful. Oh, let me see if I can find it real quick. It's right here. Is this. So if I'm out in the middle of nowhere, this little saw, believe it or not, because you can carry all sorts of little kind of saws, but this offset blade saw, this thing works like amazing. So if you're like setting up a little lean-to or a tent, or you need to cut rope, or you need to cut like little branches, man, this is awesome. This thing works like a champ. So I think just those things alone, I think this thing has like 14 different things on it, different items. And it's also cool because it does have the toothpick, which is handy, and it does have the tweezers, which again, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, having these tweezers, to pull out cacti. My kids have gotten into cactus needles before, things like that. So having tweezers is also awesome. But if I'm going to carry a second knife, it's going to be a Victorinox. And again, there's so many of these to look through to find all the different features that matter to you. A little saw like that may mean nothing to you. So you could end up getting a thinner Victorinox knife that's a good backup to your tactical folder. So that's something you'd want to research on your own and decide, which one of these do I want to carry that really fits my needs. Next thing that we'll talk that goes in the back of this pouch, one is going to be a little disposable lighter. But what I like about this lighter, and if you pay attention when you buy a disposable lighter, sometimes you'll buy them and realize they're not disposable. This actually has a thing you can refill lighter fluid into this thing. And it's a torch. It's not just a Bic or like a butane. So this actually is a torch lighter. So you get a lot of reliability in wind with something like this. And again, the ability to refill it and have it be cheap. These are like $3, and it's flat. That was the other issue. So you notice the theme here, flat. I don't like carrying round or oval things in my pocket if I can help it. I would rather have things flat. Really helps with the profile on your pocket. The last thing that goes in here is this little mini knife, this little mini pen. So I think it's really important to have a pen because you maybe always have a little piece of paper in your front pocket too. If you need to write something down, you need to give someone directions, you need to write down a phone number or anything that might be important that you don't want to have to try to remember. And this thing is cool. This is made by TI Mini, and that's the company. It's called TI. And they make these pens out of, like this one's called the machined raw, but these are titanium. So again, they're very light. You'll see right there it says TI on it, and it comes with like a little bead on the end. The good thing about these though is, see, they just twist to open, right? And they're very small. In fact, I measured it, and that was one of the reasons I bought this one, because when I was putting this kit together, I measured how long this is to make sure that I could get a pen that will fit into this thing. The other advantage to this is it can take standard refills that you can just buy at Staples or Amazon. So it's not like a specially unique proprietary refill for this thing. I can't remember the name of it, but you'll see if you go to the Amazon link on this, it'll show you what refill type this takes, and you can get them anywhere. So that to me was another fantastic feature on this. So what we'll do now, I'm going to move this stuff aside, and I'm going to show you basically how I reassemble this pouch so that it can go into my pocket. So the first thing I do is I'm going to take my lighter and just put it in here, and then you just kind of tilt it up like that, and I put it to the side. Okay. Then I take this pen, put it in, and again, you kind of got a little diagonal on it, and then kind of just keep them apart. I just do it like that. Zip it up. Okay, there you go. There's the back for this one. This actually worked out cool, and that's why I like that it has pockets and that it has these outer, like what they call molly webbing. So you can utilize the pocket or you can utilize the outside. And for my application, it couldn't have worked out better. So on this one, I keep this Victorinox knife in the pocket. Okay. But then I keep this one on the belt loop. So when you look at the profile, they're almost the same. So that worked out perfect for me. Is that this one, because this one won't really fit in there, but just by putting it on using the belt loop, the profile stays flat, and so this fits in my pocket quite well. And that's kind of it on this one. 4 little items. I really don't use this. I mostly just keep it in my pocket like this, but it's really handy to just set down. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take this aside because I want to go over some alternates. Here's some alternates for you. Okay, let's put it like this. Here are alternates. So, for example, if I don't feel like carrying that pouch in my pocket, let's say I'm doing something like I'm working on something, or I need less things, because there's oftentimes I'll pull even my wallet out of my pocket because I don't want them in my pocket based on what I'm doing. But what I always think is important to have is the flashlight. So again, what I like about this flashlight is if you're wearing, like, these jeans are Carhartt, but if you have 501s, you have any jeans that have that little, what they used to have a pocket watch, in that little tiny triangular pocket in your right pocket. This thing with the belt clip fits perfectly in there, and you don't even feel that you have it, and that you end up always having a flashlight with you. So that would be alternate number 1. Other alternate for me is if I don't want to carry my gigantic wallet, because let's say, and this is, I'll tell you a real life scenario, I went to a wedding. Actually, I officiated several weddings. I'm ordained, so I've done several weddings. If I'm wearing slacks and I'm in front of a group doing a wedding, the last thing I want to do is have this gigantic bulky bulge in my front left pocket. So what I end up doing is I use this, which is by the brand of this is called Maestro, and this is their classic minimalist wallet with a mustache comb. So, and I have a goatee and a mustache, so this works out great. It's got like a little comb in there. This is really nice leather, and I just pull my driver's license and a credit card or my ATM card, and I put 2 cards in here, and this thing is tiny, tiny, tiny. When it's in my pocket, you can't even tell I have it. So that's a great alternative to the normal wallet in that given scenario. The other situation is if I am going in the middle of, let's say, nowhere, there is sometimes where I will add this to my carry. I don't really take away another knife. I just add this one, so this will actually go onto a belt loop. But this is like a bushcraft knife. So if I'm in the middle of nowhere and I really need a thick utility knife that can really, this thing can really do the job. I love this knife. So this is by a guy named Bill Hibben. This is his Tundra bushcraft knife and sheath. I also have this with their limited edition that has actual antler bone on it, or antler the antler, what do they call it, scale on here. This, I think, is micarta. So this thing is bulletproof. This is an awesome, awesome knife. And again, I got this from Bud K. But that is something I'll add if need be, depending on the situation. The last thing I'm going to show you is, again, like I talked about, is this knife, or this belt. I got knives on the brain. Again, as you can see, this is from 511 Tactical. Okay. They've got a little cool thing in here that says, what is it? Always be ready. Kind of cool. But here's what I like about this. Again, you'll see the 511 Tactical. So what I like about this is that you put it in, and wherever you want to put it, that's it. You just lock it down. So like I said, eat a big meal and you're stuffed, you can open it up a little bit. You've got a bunch of crap you're carrying and your pants feel like they're falling down, tighten it up a little bit. I'm telling you, I found this in Missouri at a 511 shop when I was with my cousin, and this has been my favorite my favorite belt. If I ever lose this belt or it breaks or something happens to it, I will, without a doubt, get this again. I think this was, again, around $50, so it wasn't, didn't break the bank. And again, this was, just so you know, this was $50 off Bud K, and this little Maestro classic thin wallet. This is $44.99 off of their own website. It's Maestros, and this is the classic. So again, like I talked about, if I had to really break it down to carrying a couple things that I just think are just of the utmost importance, and I won't go home without them, that's it right there. If you're gonna go as minimal as you possibly can, if you're gonna look at these items and go, there's no way I'm gonna carry all that stuff, If you're just going to carry minimum, bare minimum, I will tell you, carry a tactical folder, carry a flashlight. You will be shocked how often you use a flashlight. All the time. I'm always using this flashlight. And the occasions that I have to use this knife, constant. So these are the two items. If I had to trim it down to the bare minimums, I would always have these two items. So that's it for the deep dive on the pocket dump. All right, so it looks like we are done. We've gone through everything. Hopefully this was helpful. Again, use this as a guideline. Use this as a springboard for thought of like, hey, maybe this makes sense. I carry a flashlight. One thing I can tell you, when I was younger, before I went back to college and stuff, I was a mechanic for a while, and we used to always follow this rule: is that if I borrowed something 3 times, I would buy it because it meant I needed it. So if you find yourself going, man, I wish I had a knife on me, or I wish I had a flashlight, or I wish I had something on me, if you've said that a couple times, get it, carry it, because clearly it's come up enough to where it makes sense that you have it on a regular basis. So that's maybe a rule of thumb too, is you could sit down and think, what are the items that I have had situations come up where I really wish I had item X on me and didn't. Maybe that's a place you start. Maybe go there first and just get those items. Look at your clothing that you wear on a regular basis. Look what makes sense. That's why, when I got that little VIPERADE or VE13 pouch, I measured my pocket, physically measured it. I measured the items that were going to go in it. I made sure, to me, it's like a puzzle piece. I made sure it was going to work so that when I got it, I was actually going to carry it. Because I'll tell you, one of the worst things is if you get something that you don't really feel comfortable carrying, you're going to stop carrying it. So you need to make sure that whatever you put together for your EDC, it's stuff that you feel comfortable carrying on a regular basis. Because believe me, once it's uncomfortable, you're going to start leaving it out. I'm not going to carry that today. And then before you know it, you're never carrying it anymore. So that's why I'm telling you too, is if you really go down to the point of I really don't want to carry all this stuff, I really just want the bare minimum, I'm telling you, flashlight, tactical folder. Those to me are to me, EDC essential. So I would at least do those 2 items to start with and then maybe build from there. But anyway, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you got some ideas that you didn't have before. If you don't know much about EDC, hopefully this gave you a decent introduction to what this whole concept is. So hopefully you can take away something from this video. Again, Eric at Diversified Outdoors. Again, just started this channel, so keep looking for videos that are going to keep popping up here and there, and I appreciate some comments down below. Let me know what you carry. Let me know if any of these are items you never thought of and you might incorporate. And also always leave comments of any ideas you want me to cover on topics. I'm more than happy to do that. So again, take it easy. I will see you next time, and watch for the next video. Bye-bye.